Hey guys, give this video a quick pause to see the runes and masteries I use in this commentary, and enjoy the video. Hey guys, this is HalfPastThor here again, and this time I'm going to be doing not a live commentary, but it will be a commentary of something that I've been having mild success with in ranked recently. I'm currently 5-0 on support Vel'Koz. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this is a bit of an unconventional pick, and yes, it is quite unconventional. There's only been it was picked once in the LCS by Unrated, and ever since then I've been trying it out and giving it a bit of a play. And I actually really enjoy this champion as a support. I feel like he just brings so much damage to the bot lane that you can just destroy people 1v2, like just 1v2 on your own. And when you combine it with the AD carry, then it's just huge damage at level 6, especially with a Graves. So I've had a lot of success with a Twitch as well, because at 6 you just combine your ultimates and just completely destroy the enemy bottom lane. So how I play support Vel'Koz is I run in with mid lane runes. So I run, what runes am I running? Am I running magic resist on this page? I think I'm running just AP mid lane runes with magic resist and armor. And I'm running same in masteries, so no defensive masteries, because you're so long range that you should never get into range of getting killed, to be honest, unless you get like flashed on or you make a mistake. So you just bring as much damage as possible to the lane, which is awesome. And you start with the support item because you can poke with your really low mana cost Q. So his Q has a 40 base mana cost and his base mana is 300. His mana regen's quite high as well, so you can just spam that Q all lane phase and gain gold from the Spell Thief's Edge item, which also allows you to build into your ability power items later on in the game, which is how I tend to play support Vel'Koz. I end up building a stone and then just building pure AP items. So this lane phase we're facing up against a Thresh and Caitlyn as Graves and Vel'Koz. Now this lane is in their favour if they land a hook on either Graves or me. However, it is in our favour if they do not, because we have superior poke even though they have a Caitlyn. Just because Vel'Koz brings so much poke damage to the table with his Q. Kate may have longer range than Graves, but I have longer range than Caitlyn. So as you can see, just try and land as many Qs onto the AD carry or support as you can. Doesn't really matter who you hit. You can be very tricky with his Q. You have to learn the ways to... I try and land a stun here, so we get the level 2 first. If I had hit my stun, that would have been a dead Caitlyn. My Q whiffs, but hits Thresh. So if you can learn to use his Q quite effectively to harass from angles that AD carries wouldn't usually be ready to defend. So we get ganked by an Evelynn here, but we know it's coming, so we just end up doing a lot of damage to her, making it so that the gank is pretty much useless and she has to go back to farming. Although, because she had a bunch of potions, we were still quite wary of Evelynn being around. So we're playing a bit safe here, not playing super aggressively, just hitting minions, letting Graves sustain a bit more. Thresh goes really aggressive here, so that's a telltale sign that we're getting ganked. So we're just backing up. Once he misses his hook, we're more inclined to fight, even if it is a 3v2, because without Thresh's hook to CC us, we have a massive advantage. But as you can see, when Thresh walks straight up to Graves, like he's playing passive the whole lane phase, and he just walks up, tries to land hook. So I get hooked, I flash immediately. I get caught by the flay, so I immediately use my entire combo on the Evelynn to just do as much damage as I can. She almost dies instantly. And that gives Graves a double buff, which also means that Yi is allowed to teleport in and gank Thresh, pick up another kill. And the pure damage that Vel'Koz and his passive did there to the low health Evelynn early game just made it impossible for the enemy team's Evelynn to survive that gank. Even though they caught me completely out of position with a very nice hook from Thresh, brush to brush, I got caught and just unleashed my entire combo into Evelynn, which just killed her and allowed Graves to get the kill. So Graves is abusing the fact that he's got double buffs here, very good of him. Me and Thresh are walking back to lane now. Thresh will get there first, so Graves has to be slightly careful. There, he's just looking to push out here in base, I think. So As a support, when you get back to lane, if this happens, your AD carry wants to base, you should just be... For some reason it's not basing, so I come back to lane, but you should be running up warding dragon and stuff like that while your AD carry's not around. So we're just focusing on pushing the wave up into the tower again. I think Graves might have stayed because he was close to an item, maybe close to a BF sword. I'm not quite sure how it works because I don't play carry very much. Steps on a trap because he likes to eat cupcakes. Num num num. Thresh lands a really nice hook on him there, but unfortunately Caitlyn gets zoned by my skills. Graves still has his heal up, uses his heal, gets a move speed bonus. Massive flash dodging that Caitlyn key, gets him out, picks me up the kill on Caitlyn. Thresh is chasing, he's angry, he's like, I can't believe you got out of this again. And he lands a hook on the Graves, but it's just not enough. Graves gets his quick draw back up, just piles some bullets into his face, and we pick up 2 kills from what started with Graves getting caught out of position by a hook. Graves making some massive plays there with his heal and flash to just dodge everything he needed to dodge and get us 2 kills. So at this point we are at a huge advantage. As you can see, Caitlyn's got 2 Dorans and a Vamp Scepter to Graves' BF, Dorans and Longsword. Now, to give a bit of perspective on that, Graves now has 154 attack damage, whereas Caitlyn has 102. Caitlyn is missing out on 52 attack damage in this lane right now, which is absolutely massive. If you think that each champion has, well, she has about 1,000 health right now, and all of, well, Graves' Q is going to scale quite highly off that, and every auto attack is going to be doing 50 more damage, and his ult's going to scale massively off it as well. So once we hit level 6, shit's going to go down. Clearing the traps there from Graves is pretty good. Said the Gragas having a fight in mid. Oh my god, who's gonna win? Probably the Gragas. New Gragas coming out big. Never mind. Zed gets away. His living shadow. Okay, so now we're back in bot lane. I'll put the camera back on the support of Vel'Kozby. And try to land the stun on Caitlyn here. Seeing as we've got the lane advantage, I'm going to play quite aggressively. I activate my Q early to get a bit of harass on her. She gets a nice bit of harass back onto the Graves, however. But Graves has the Dorans, and I presume he's running Lifesteal Quints. Maybe not. He's got a few potions. Maybe he's not running them. Takes another Q. I get a nice angled Q on the Caitlyn again. Graves is just sting 6. I know I'm hitting 6 soon, so Calf Assault comes down. We take a decent chunk of damage from that Calf Assault, and Aurelia falls top lane to Karthus. And land another nice Q on the K. I don't know what that W was. I must have messed up there. I don't remember doing that in game, but just constantly poking down. Right here, the Graves is disconnected. Now I can't catch onto this pretty quickly, and I'm just trying to defend him. Now, unfortunately for me, my Graves is just disconnected, so now I'm 1v2 in lane. But it doesn't matter because of the huge advantage that I've gained. Thresh has only just hit level 5, whereas I'm level 6. I'm going to be gaining solo XP from now on as well. And what Thresh is doing here is quite... I feel it's quite disrespectful when a lane opponent DCs to run up to the person he's 1v2ing and just try and harass them and get kills on them. I think it's quite unfair. So he learns a lesson here of why not to be a douchebag pretty much, and just gets completely disintegrated. So basically what he was doing there, you can say it's disrespectful, you can say it's not disrespectful, it's fine. Either way, what he shouldn't have done is walk up to me through minions and just disrespect the damage that Vel'Koz can deal. He got completely destroyed by the passive. I think the only skill I missed was my stun, so I probably got 3 or 4 passive stacks off, and his passive does, at this level, 95 true damage, so it's about 100 true damage. Now if I get 4 passives off, he's on 500 health. The rest of my spells, I think my ultimate alone actually is enough to deal that 500. Yeah, it is. So he just disrespected the damage that Vel'Koz could deal, and got himself killed in a 1v2. Now, unfortunately, Graves still hasn't reconnected yet. So, when this happens, you've just got to keep playing. You just got to hope they come back. And try your best to make use of yourself. So again, Thresh is playing really aggressive, but probably knows that because my ult and ignite are down that he's got a better chance of actually. But he takes a huge chunk of damage again and almost dies. But I look for the Q on him here, but it's just about out of range, unfortunately. So right now, Thresh is pretty much a non-factor in this lane. And if I had Graves here, this game would be so much easier. But it's effectively a 1v1 with a little risk of crowd control at the bot lane right now. Because Thresh he just gets himself killed really quickly by my damage. Unfortunately, he managed to spot out my pink ward. I do manage to get a nice kill on him here, and he panics quite a bit and just backs off. But goes back in and clears up the ward eventually. Yi goes real ham here. Uses his ult, forces Thresh's flash, which is pretty good, I guess. So we basically paid 100 gold to get Thresh's flash there, if you want to put it that way. Because he got our pink ward. Thresh is going to base here, leaving me 1v1 with Caitlyn. I'm a level on her, she also has 0 mana, so I'm just going to push out this wave. Graves finally reconnects, so praise the Lord. So I push out the wave and base, so by the time Graves is actually reconnected, we can go to lane together. Zed's going to get ganked by Evelyn here. Nice flash from Zed to dodge the barrel. I think he dodged the barrel. Uses his ult to try and dodge some damage, but inevitably will be destroyed. So how I feel about the new Gragas while I walk to lane and Graves walks to lane is that I feel like he's not very good mid anymore. But we'll have to see. I mean, I think his kit's really cool and I like the new animations a lot. I feel like he's a really good top laner now and could even possibly be a decent support. Though we'd have to see. Relia's going to probably get dived here. Oh, that flash. It's a bit crazy. Somehow she's still alive for now. Yi comes in, uses his ult. He's going to start slicing up the Gragas. Slice. His Alpha Strike was not on cooldown there, so I'm not sure why he didn't try and finish the job, but nevertheless, we are back in the bot lane with the support of Vel'Koz. Just pushing up the lane because we know everyone else is top, so we're under no pressure right now. Just going to get a bit of harass down. Unsupport Vel'Koz. Oh, never mind, this fight's happening. So I get a decent ult off. Karthus teleports in behind us, unfortunately, but we've got enough damage right now to just instantly burst him down and get away. Which is fortunate for us. We also almost killed Thresh, but I was in a bad position. I should have been behind minions, so my laser could get a full channel instead of getting hooked in the face and only getting half a channel off. Caitlyn steps too close to this bush. I get a huge amount of damage on her. She's forced to net away. Takes a bit more damage from Graves Buckshot there. As I was saying, Q. So as I was saying before I interrupted myself, the skill order for Vel'Koz support, at the moment I feel like maxing Q is really good because you just do so much damage. So it's just going to walk up to Kate and dive her apparently, because Zed's behind her killing Thresh. Get a nice stun on the Gragas, get a nice Q. He's got 2 passive stacks on him right now. I proc the third one, dealing with true damage. We dive him, and he goes down. And everyone gets it out again. Oh, never mind. The Karthus ult's going to pick up. I think Graves, yeah, the Zed gets away just about. Oh, never mind. Those poisoned cupcakes. Picking up a kill for Caitlyn there. Zed was not very happy about that. So, you max Q first, because it does a good amount of poke damage in lane. And has a really low cooldown and really low mana cost. So it's probably its most efficient skill to max, I feel, on Vel'Koz. Even though in mid lane, when I play mid, I tend to max the W to farm really easily and quickly, push up the lane fast. But Q is definitely the better damage spell. E, I max second because I just feel like the W doesn't do anything on support Vel'Koz. It's only really used on support to get stacks onto people. And to help your AD push out the lane a little bit. You don't want to take the lane, you want to weaken the minions so they can kill them all with their like Buckshot or Caitlyn's Q or whatever. Tectonic Disruption is the one that I max second because I think, I could be wrong, but I think it reduces cooldown. Which on a CC spell for a support is really good to reduce the cooldown so you can get it out as much as you can. Just try to land a hook on the Graves there. Graves gets a bit of damage back onto the Kate and dodges her EQ combo. Looks like Zed's going to get himself possibly ganked again here. Evelyn's just behind him, manages to shadow away, gets hit by the ult, but Yi is ready for the counter gank if anything goes down. Zed walks into the Gragas and gets ulti back into two people. That was a bit of a misplay from the Zed there. Managed to escape and then decides to go back in and die. So right now, me and Graves are bot, trying to catch the Caitlyn in that position. Graves gets spotted by a ward, but unfortunately for Caitlyn, after using her net, I flash in, use the Q. I missed the Q, but spam my ult out, get her low enough that the Graves ult can finish her off. Well, unfortunately it doesn't finish her off and I pick up the laser beam, but as you can see, when you combo the two ults together from these champions, the damage that comes out is unbelievably insane. She was about half health plus a barrier, so it's just so much damage there.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
So he's trying to run away. Unfortunately, he doesn't manage to juke the barrel here. Otherwise, we would have been able to save him. And Graves manages to get himself caught here, unfortunately, by the Thresher's Flay, and ends up getting killed. I come in to finish up the Gragas. Zed comes in, tries to kill the Evelyn, but doesn't manage to, I don't think. He does manage to kill her. I get the slow onto Thresh, and at that point, Thresh is completely dead. So the ult, my ult does a huge amount of base damage. It does about 500 damage plus one. If you hit one spell, just one spell before you use your ulti, you get 2 passive stacks off of a full ult. Passive right here deals 125 damage. So 125 times 2, 250. 250 plus 500, this count magic resist and just remove the AP ratio. Does about 700 damage. 700 damage. And on top of Graves, we've got an extra almost 500 damage. So we'd say about 450, 400 damage. So combining the two, you can pretty much kill somebody, I think. How much health does Caitlyn have? So you almost kill someone with the combo. You leave them at about 200 health. And that's just using 2 spells, which have immensely long range. Okay, so we're continuing to push. Well, I have a double buffs right now, so I'm pretty strong. Caitlyn's trying to pressure the Graves too. I managed to get almost hit Q on her. I'm going to put a ward over at red. We start to see, I think we see Gragas rotate from mid, so I'm like, we need to back off, I feel. And I do end up seeing the Gragas with the sword, get the slow on him, get the stun on him, and pop the passive. As you can see, a support Vel'Koz just dealt, what, 800 damage, roughly, to a mid lane Gragas who's building Rod of Ages and starting to build tank here, and had his W active. Like, 800 damage is nothing to be scoffed at. Now, we're trying to camp and wait for this Caitlyn. I managed to get the stun to Caitlyn, used my entire combo, missed my Q unfortunately because the minions are in the way. She has to burn her flash and it just to even get away from my damage, let alone Graves. Zed manages to pick up the Karthus at top lane, which is really good because the Karthus is getting quite far ahead. Caitlyn comes back in, Evelyn's here. Unfortunately, the Evelyn's so tanky that we can't end up picking up a kill on her. She manages to flash out my stun, unfortunately, and my Q doesn't hit either target. So that's too bad. We almost killed them, but not quite. Not quite enough damage yet. So I'm just going to push out of the wave here, because I know that the other two have based. So they're going to miss all this CS to the tower again. Admittedly, supports won't usually see 54 CS. You'll probably see 8 CS like the Thresh has right now. But because the Graves got the DC, I ended up picking up a little extra gold this game. But even without that gold, the Frost Fang or Spell Thief's Edge item will make up for a lot of the gold that you get on a support, especially if you're harassing correctly and using the stats properly. Velia manages to get herself caught out position in mid and dies, but that's fine. And also I do have 4 kills and 8 assists. Now, I'd probably have even more than this if Graves hadn't disconnected. So when you think about it that way, my gold would probably still be the same even if I hadn't got the CS, because something else would happen to have me get the gold. So trying to aim my key for Caitlyn there. Probably should have aimed it for Thresh. We could probably got a kill off of him there. Getting some wards down. Graves gets flayed in. I'm pretty sure because Thresh is playing aggressively again that Evelyn's nearby. He's been a telltale sign the whole game. We almost kill Thresh. Graves is trying to run away. Unfortunately, he's going to get picked up by the Calf Assault, and so am I. Because the Gragas makes a nice play. And yeah, that's unfortunate. We're going to lose some mid-tower for that as well. And Aurelia might even have got herself killed here. Never mind, she's fine. Zed's in behind them, but not really too much he'll be able to do here. Oh, it's kind of our mistake. We knew that Evelyn was probably around because Thresh was playing, doing his really aggressive stance that he, like walking up to people trying to land skill shots, like he's been doing all lane phase when Evelyn's been nearby, so we should really have backed off to the tower a bit more. But as you can see, we're still ahead in gold slightly. 20 minutes in. Our new barrel has a crit animation on his when you stack it up. It's pretty cool. Does up to 150% damage. That's the Cask of Ferments. Legit. So at the moment, because of the DC, Caitlyn is a lot stronger 1v1 than Graves is. She's basically ahead on CS, and meaning she's ahead on EXP as well. So I get the flash past her, land the Q. Unfortunately, I do get in range for the stun, and I just completely blow her up again. Same combo as before. And that was just my damage. If I land my combo, she gets 100 zeroed by support. And that's just insane. She has 1,600 health and 100 to 0 her on a support. I mean, the only AP items I've got Leandri's Torment, which just does so much damage for the amount of gold that it costs. It's just crazy. You get a magic pen from it, you get a good amount of AP, and you get the passive does add up quite a lot. I used to think that it was terrible, but it actually does a lot when you haven't got access to much gold. Frostfang gives me 10 AP, that's not a lot, but it's some. Got a Doran's Ring. And obviously this also shoots with the magic pen. So with this low budget AP build, I'm just doing insane damage. Which is just crazy how you can do that much damage on a support. Like having a support that's able to 1v1 the AD carry is such a huge advantage. There's a lot of champions that can do that as support, like LeBlanc is another one of them. If LeBlanc gets her full combo onto an AD carry, even if she's support, she can often end up 1v1ing the carry, which is something you don't want to see. Kennen is quite able as well. Once he gets his Zonias from all the gold that he gets from the support items, he can actually 1v1 the AD carry, as can Syndra if you play a support. There's a lot of unconventional AP supports that can 1v1 AD carries because they don't get a chance to react and auto attack or run away, unfortunately for them. So Zed's playing quite aggressive here. A little bit out of position, manages to get himself crowd controlled. Looks like he might, yep, will pick up the Thresh with his flash. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to pick up the Evelyn. Oh, very close, but not quite. But his play does allow us to secure the dragon. That's unfortunately Aurelia dies for no reason mid lane, but we do pick up the dragon for this. They have it warded, and they're just letting us do it for some reason. Teleport comes in from Carthus when the dragon's already dead, and then cancels it. Interesting. But yeah, so we noticed that our team is applying pressure on the opposite side of the map, so we take the advantage to, or take the position to take the dragon. So okay, so this new Feral Flare item, right, is coming into solo queue a lot. You see a lot more farm heavy junglers like Nocturne, you see like Evelyn can even build it. I don't know if she is this game, let's check. No, she isn't, but Evelyn can run Feral Flare. Nocturne is very strong now as well. Shyvana is back into the jungle. There are a lot of champions, like Tryndamere. Oh my goodness, jungle Tryndamere is really strong right now as well. And it's all because of Feral Flare. It's getting nerfed next patch, however, so don't expect to see these junglers stick around for too long. But maybe they will stick around. Maybe Feral Flare will still be good enough to bring them back into the meta. However, they're trying to bring, as far as I'm aware, they're trying to bring champions like Nautilus and the tanky ones back into the meta. He gets himself hooked here, unfortunately. Does, however, get away. Oh, does he get away? Uses meditate. It looks like he's going to fall here. Yeah, he does fall. Me and Graves are pressuring bot tower as much as we can. Unfortunately, it's very hard to pressure when Caitlyn's ahead of Graves and she can just wave clear all the time. As you can see, she's got a red buff, so she's basically 1v2ing us right now. Because she's playing safe enough that I can't get my stun onto her. She's just wave clearing. Pushing us away, so... Said, however, looks like he's going to pick up the Gragas. Oh, a nice flash from the Gragas. It's going to get him away there. So that's unfortunate for the Zed. See if Zed can make it. Oh, the Sonya's play though. Very nice. So yeah, what we need to do right now is group with the team rather than try and split push, because it's obvious so we can't push through the Caitlyn right now with the disadvantage that Graves is set to. But in team fights we can definitely make more happen than Caitlyn can. Yeah, so the item build I like to build on support Vel'Koz. I do this almost every game. I rush into Frostfang to just spam gold generation, so I can afford these expensive items and AP items. I tend to build a sight stone straight afterwards, because you are a support, you do need to be warding. It doesn't matter if you want to carry your team, you can carry your team by getting vision. Build the sight stone second, always. It also gives you a good amount of health, which allows you to survive these aggressive lanes like Thresh. Unfortunately, Ghost gets himself caught here and does unfortunately get himself killed. I am going to try and leave. Not sure if I get away, but I'm just going to continue explaining the item builds while this happens. So Sightstone gives me the health that I need to survive ganks and survive Thresh and aggressive support laners. Sometimes I'll upgrade it into the red version, but you'll rarely see me do that because I just don't feel like it's cost efficient. It gives a good amount of health, but I just don't feel like I could build something like a Liandry's instead, which gives me more health and AP and damage. So I built the Liandry's after the so I end up getting a nice ult off here, doing a lot of damage to the Gragas. We'll get a decent AoE team fight off here. I think we managed to pick up the Karthus as well. He's going to go for the ult. Aurelia flashes the last Q, unfortunately, for Karthus, so she isn't going to pick up the kill. He wouldn't have anyway because of the Hex Shrinker, but yeah, so I end up running away as well. In this game, I'm building the Zhonya's Hourglass because Karthus is really far ahead, and as a squishy support, it's really painful when a Karthus ult hits you. You almost die just from that. So I'm building the Zhonya's. Usually I'd build a Rabadon's instead of the Zhonya's after Liandry's, and after Sorcerer's Shoes, obviously. To just pure damage, stay at the back line, laser through their entire team, and just deal so much damage as a support. But this game I'm going to build the Zhonya's. It doesn't give me anywhere near as much AP as Rabadon's would, but it gives me the ability to survive the Karthus ult damage. It gives me a little bit of armor as well from the long range of Caitlyn and the Caitlyn ults that will constantly be flying at my goddamn face. It's the most annoying thing playing a support or squishy champion against a Caitlyn who just builds pure damage, Bloodthirst the Last Whisper, because her ult just, it hits you for like, look at that damage. It's at about 800? 800 damage! What the fuck? So yeah, that's why I built a Zhonya's this game instead of a Rabadon's. The item I'll look to be building afterwards is some cooldown reduction from Morello's. Now, it's a cheap item. Morello's is going to be reducing healing reduction. It's reducing healing from the opponents, and now carries are starting to run heal. Or Thresh. I think Thresh is running heal this game. But yeah, bot lanes are starting to run heal now, so it's good to build a bit of grievous wounds on your team. At the moment, we only have the ignites to do it. I'm not sure. I don't think E has any grievous wounds effects. So yeah, I'm going to build the Morellos to put the grievous wounds across the entire team. Stop any life steal, any heals, anything like that from doing too much. So we're grouped up right now in mid. Aurelia is engaging completely unnecessarily while Yi's pushing bot. The plan was to wait for Yi to push the bot lane up and then pressure mid at the same time, but Aurelia obviously thought she saw an opportunity to engage, and unfortunately it doesn't work out. Not saying that it was a bad, maybe it was in her eyes a good engage, but everyone wasn't on that page, so she should have just not done it and been on page with everyone else. Yi's being sneaky. Going to use his Youmu's, cut down that Karthus in a matter of seconds. Karthus is going to use his Sonya's. He's going to tank a bit of damage through his Meditate. He's going to go onto the Gragas. He's just going completely bloodthirsty ham mode. And unfortunately my Q misses Gargus, but the shield would have saved him anyway, so... But yeah, he was like, I'm gonna kill the whole team. And unfortunately, he didn't need to die by chasing the Gargus, but good job from him to pick up the Karthus, at least. And I'm just looking to be annoying right now, poke people down. Me and Graves are sitting around the mid lane. And at the moment, I feel like we could still, if I land my stun, fight the Caitlyn and the Thresh. Unfortunately, Graves is... Look how much damage that does. Oh my goodness. Half his health. So scary damage. And that's mainly just because he's quite far behind. The last still will get him back up to a good amount of health in a relative amount of time. So me and Aurelia see the dragon spawn. We're going to go do the dragon because money for free is always nice. Vel'Koz is quite good at helping do dragon because of his low mana costs and low cooldowns and high damage on his passive. It's very good at doing early dragons with your bot lane and jungler and mid laner. So we're going to look to group up again, I think. I'll try and get this blue, but he wants to have the blue. It would have been really nice on me, however, as I'm basically an AP caster on this team and Zed doesn't need it. The way that I'm building would make blue buff really strong on me, but it doesn't matter too much. So because I'm quite an inexperienced support, I decided to finally buy my Oracle's lens upgraded. This should have probably been bought quite a lot earlier into this game. Usually you switch to the sweeping lens when you buy the Sightstone, which I bought second item, and just keep forgetting to buy the Oracle's lens, but I finally got it. So that's good. That's just my inexperience as a support player. So they're all grouped up mid. I land a stun on the Karthus, bit of damage coming out onto the Kate as well. We do... Nah, the tower does eventually fall. That's basically our team not grouping up quickly enough. We're looking to fight, however. We've got a flank coming in from Zed, we've got a flank coming in from Yi. We're just trying to get... I'm trying to get some slows down. They've got a ward on the side of Zed, but they don't have a ward on the side of Yi, so they don't know where Yi is right now. Caitlyn ult does hit quite hard onto the Zed. They now found out where Yi is. They're trying to make an engage with the Karthus wall. Yi's busy cutting down the Evelyn, and he does almost get her down. Unfortunately, he doesn't quite get her, but I land a nice stun and just huge AoE combo damage from our team. Karthus ult's going to come down. Izon uses the Karthus ult. Graves manages to survive it. Unfortunately, Gargus can't clean up the Graves, and Aurelia cleans up the Thresh. Now, as you can see, even though the fight started poorly, with the Yi getting caught out of position and almost killing the Evelyn but dying, the huge AoE combo of me and Graves, with Aurelia's ult as well coming through there, just did so much damage. And unfortunately, this late into the game, when you have your minions pushing up mid lane, when you lose a team fight like that and it's an ace, you're actually going to lose the game. And so yeah, the game's coming to an end here, guys. Quite unexpected and quite instant, but a huge ace, a huge team fight from us, and we do manage to pick up 2 towers in here, 2 more towers and their Nexus, and we end the game. Support Vel'Koz, new meta. Come on, guys, try it out. I do recommend trying it out. It's very strong, and if you learn to play the champion in lane well, he provides so much damage for your team in team fights, and it's quite enjoyable to play as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this commentary, and yeah, see you guys around. And also, before I forget, leave a like if you like the video, and subscribe if you want to see my content when it gets uploaded. Also, leave a comment, anything you think, any questions, and I'll try to answer them.